Welcome back to the Versus Cinematic Mirror Matchup series. In this genre of videos, we take a look back at two different iterations of the same character in live action and see who would win in a deathmatch. Today, we are looking at Elektra. More specifically, we are pitting Jennifer Garner's mercenary assassin against Elodie Young's silent Black Sky. Hailing from Greek ancestry, Elektra is a skilled assassin who has trained intensely in different types of martial arts. She's most commonly associated with her love interest Daredevil, which is frankly where both of these versions made their first appearances in, the Daredevil movie and the Daredevil Netflix show. Each of these characters are measured up with their strength, speed, intellect, durability, and abilities. Alright, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. First category's up. Born again after dying in front of their loved one Matt Murdock, both Elektras experienced major upgrades after being raised from the dead, but to varying degrees. We will mainly be analyzing these characters after their first resurrection, because that is them at their most prime strongest period. Both have shown to be able to send people flying off their feet from their attacks. Young's version actually regularly sends people flying with ordinary kicks and punches. She's got Jessica Jones and Luke Cage flying like they're just ragdolls, both of which are heavy-hitting powerhouses of the MCU. Garner's kinda has a similar showcase. She sends people flying off rooftops and is capable of doing one-handed pull-ups. She is also shown to be able to lift people up overhead and toss them, and has also countered the force needed to break her Sai in two. Both are shown to easily break people's necks, and that actually requires a lot more force than you'd think. But if we're comparing their strengths, Netflix's Elektra just beats the movie version in this category. She hoists up Iron Fist on her shoulder without much problem. And on top of that, the two different people they sent flying yields very different results. Due to the natural arc the guy flew from Garner's hit, and the unnatural, nearly straight line Jessica went flying after getting hit by Young's Elektra, the Netflix version is over 6 times stronger than the movie version. She also knocked out Luke Cage. And granted, he was kinda already groggy from the sleeping agent Stick gave him, but it's still pretty impressive to point out. Luke Cage doesn't really flinch with normal punches and kicks, but against her, it's doing some real damage. Netflix Elektra gets the category in strength. Alright, I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. For those of you that watched my top 20 fastest live-action speedsters ranked video years ago, some of you may remember that I put movie Elektra on there as an honorable mention. A lot of you were genuinely confused as to why I put her on there. She's just an assassin. Why is she on here? Well, here it is. Here's that 8-year payoff explanation I've been holding in for so long. Elektra from 2005 puts up Speedy Gonzalez numbers. She is ridiculously fast. There's this scene in her 2005 movie where she's talking to one of the other characters, and they're talking about his daughter. Look at this.
I should go. I have work.
Come on, it's early.
Thanks for dinner.
The guy in this scene, Mark Miller, invites Elektra to stay the night. She politely says no when he's turned around, and immediately in the next frame, she's gone. She is nowhere to be found in this shot. We don't even see her walking away. That lady is gone. The next time we see her, she's already walking behind the house. Now, we don't have an actual building to refer to in real life for Mark's cabin, as it was a soundstage built just for the movie, which was later demolished afterwards. But thanks to Jovial J over at MC Location Scout for tracking down where they filmed these scenes. This guy's done this for a lot of movies, so shout out to him, that's so much work. It can give us a rough idea of what we're looking at. The scenes at this place were shot in a small cove in Minotee Bay in Vancouver, Canada. The average cabin in the woods in 2005, the time this film was released, ranged from 1,000 to 1,400 square feet. Let's be conservative and use the lower end of that. Analyzing the aerial view of this location and matching it up with the location of the cabin in the movie, this looks to be pretty correct. Knowing this, Elektra had to be moving at least 1.5 times the speed of sound. This woman trained herself so much that she biologically altered her reaction time and pushed it to superhuman levels. Mind you, that was using the lower estimates for the cabin. She could have been moving even faster if the cabin was bigger. The most impressive thing speed-wise Young's version did was dodge bullets. But I'm gonna be real with you, the guy shooting his shots is definitely nervous and is missing terribly. She's just dodging his terrible aim. Kinda up in the air if she's being faster than bullets. Dude shot up way up here, bro, she's down here. But let's just say for argument's sake that yes, she is that fast. She's faster than a speeding bullet. The gun used in this scene was a Ruger GP100, which means she would still be moving slower than Garner's Elektra. Now you may be thinking, the Netflix version has better reaction speed because she deflected a bullet, and that's more than running speed in a fight, right? Therefore she would win this category. Let's take a look, buddy. A lot of you may not be aware of this. I wasn't either until I started making this video, but there was actually an Elektra comic titled Elektra on the Rise, which details the events between the Daredevil movie and Elektra movie and how Elektra was revived. Despite the character models not looking like the movie versions, they just straight up use their original comic looks, it is a canon tie-in to the movies, meaning this was this Elektra. And yes, she also dodged bullets, but from multiple guns, and also while in midair. What's crazy though is that speed value we found for movie Elektra wasn't even her most impressive thing. She outran an explosion that she caused herself, and she also beat someone who runs at superhuman speeds, someone who was capable of breaking the sound barrier with one kick. Plus, she deflected this energy blast in Deadpool and Wolverine. I don't know how fast that was though. I'm only really bringing it up to show that I did in fact watch that movie. Pretty fun time. Comparing all of the different categories for speed, yeah, it's not really much of a contest in this context. The only one you could even argue is the reaction speed. But even then, even though the fastest gun muzzle velocity Garner's Elektra was dodging wasn't as fast as the one Young's version was dodging, she was dealing with 3 different firearms while in the air. People can hardly do anything while freefall skydiving, let alone this. Plus, that's not even taking into account the reaction speed needed with the explosion scene either. With that factored in, movie Elektra takes speed. I feel like this one's a bit harder to analyze in the conventional sense of Intellect. Both are trained assassins and master martial artists. Black Sky is extremely manipulative, and in terms of battle sense, I think she actually surpasses the movie version. She was able to toy with Iron Fist's emotions and trick him into punching open the door beneath Midland's circle. I feel like in that sense, she's more tactical in the way she manipulates people's emotions. Movie Elektra doesn't really do any of this. I feel like in that sense, the Netflix version beats her in terms of manipulation strategy and battle tactics. But the reason why I said this category is harder to analyze is because there's more to it than just battle tactics. You see, Garner's Elektra has something I like to call the Elektra ult. All her powers, abilities, strength, and speed is dialed up 1000%. The only thing that seems to trigger it is either her being really mad, or her deciding to lock in for absolutely no reason other than looking cool. If you wrong her, you are absolutely cooked. Y'all remember that Detective Vision Batman Nightwing and the gang have in the Arkham games? Yeah, this Elektra has that, but also has the ability to move forward in time. She knows where you are going to be before you even get there. She unlocks the ability to have aimbot if she chooses to decide to go for ranged attacks. And she can also potentially... Actually, let's just let Stick explain it to you.
Kimaguri, the ability to control time, the future, even life and death.
Yeah, this Elektra can also potentially control time. You see, movie Elektra's martial art is called Kimaguri, an ancient fighting style technique that gives her the ability to fight with excellence. But it also grants her super speed, astral projection, and also the ability to raise people from the dead. I'm not joking, she actually raises one of the main characters in the movie from the dead by just trying really hard. It's said that only people who master Kimaguri gain these abilities. Now, we aren't really shown just how much she mastered this art style, and therefore we don't really see if she can truly manipulate time in the way that we are told, but if we take what Stick said about the art style, and the fact that this Elektra outlived her universe's Daredevil, and the fact that it's been 19 years when we see her again in Deadpool and Wolverine since she had to further develop the skill since her last movie, I'm just going to say that there's a reason why she's still alive and her Daredevil isn't. We don't know the full scope of her time controlling ability or her Elektra ult, but being able to see in the past and future grants her knowledge that's much more valuable than anything Young's version can come up with. There doesn't seem to be a cooldown either. She can go on a killing spree if she just pleases to do so. She can kill someone moving at superhuman speeds, echolocate where someone else is immediately after, and throw her sai across the map without any drawbacks. She already knows what you're going to do before you do it and where you're going to be before you do. Because of this, I'm giving intellect and battle sense to Jennifer Garner's character. If we're looking at durability, the movie Elektra took a spinning kick to the face and the impact broke the sound barrier. She took a bit to get back up, but she seemed okay a few seconds later. Meanwhile, the Netflix Elektra took an angry punch from Iron Fist, which has shown on multiple occasions to be able to break the sound barrier as well. It's important to point out though that while Danny's punch also creates a shockwave, his is created by the force being so great that the object he punches breaks the sound barrier. His chi manipulation allows him to inflate the force exerted by his punch, even though his fist isn't even moving that fast. The bad guy in the Elektra movie that moves at super speed is named Karigi, and as opposed to Iron Fist, his movements are actually moving that fast. So that kick is definitely moving faster than the speed of sound. Just wanted to point that out. Despite these differences, these attacks are still pretty comparable, and the Netflix version got up much faster than her movie counterpart. She was throttled in the stomach though, as opposed to her face, but liver shots are pretty nasty too. Some of you might say, oh, Iron Fist was holding back, he meant no harm. I don't know, he looks kinda mad to me. She was also pissing him off to get him even angrier. I think it's safe to assume that punch was intended to kill. Both of these women are capable of taking in hits that produce shockwaves, but comparing who survived more from destructive attacks, I'ma give it to the Netflix version. She not only took Iron Fist's punch, but she also took several of Jessica Jones' punches, which mind you, when she's not holding back, it should be an instant kill. Not to mention she also took on the defenders all at once. She basically won that fight, but didn't because the building came crashing down, and she was distracted by love. Not to discount Garner surviving a supersonic kick, that thing should have had her neck broken. Like, damn sis, I'd stay down too, that looks like it hurt. I'd act like I'm dead too. It's important to note as well that the way Netflix Elektra was resurrected, she's also kind of granted nigh invulnerability. From what we are told in the Defenders, the hand resurrects people by synthesizing the elixir from the bones of dragons. The revived person loses a bit of themselves through each resurrection needed, but they also are granted many abilities. One of the other revived members of this process seemingly gets shot a few times and he doesn't really seem fazed by any of it. I think it's safe to assume the same would apply to Elektra if she were to be shot at too. And if they are somehow killed, they get resurrected on the spot within a few seconds. We see this with Nobu when he falls off the building and seemingly dies, and then he just gets back up a few seconds later after being resurrected again. They do have one glaring kryptonite though. If they are beheaded, then that's it. Game over. No resurrections this time. It's made clear that the way to put someone down for good that has been resurrected is to chop their heads off. Everything else, and they can simply just get back up as if nothing happened. I mean, this makes sense. You can clearly see Elektra feels pain, but 2 seconds later, she's smiling like she just woke up. There's no telling if she actually died in the ending of Defenders. The building fell on top of her and Matt. I just assume she did survive since Matt did as well. They could very well bring her back in the Born Again series, but we're just gonna leave this fact in limbo for now since we don't know for sure. Young's Elektra loves the adrenaline rush from feeling pain. She smiles at it, gets back up, and welcomes it again. While movie Elektra gets points for taking hits from heavy hitters too, her recovery speed just isn't as fast as her TV show counterpart. She usually needs a breather or two to regather herself after getting the wind knocked out of her. Another thing to bring up in terms of being vulnerable to attacks is Garner's Elektra's weakness to sometimes leaving herself distracted in her thoughts. When this happens, this allows people to be able to sneak up behind her. We see this twice in her movie. Abby does it with no problem, and the Death Kisser too when she moonwalk glides to her. Durability goes to Elodie Young's character. What we know so far is that Netflix Elektra has super strength and is almost invulnerable, minus that decapitation caveat. She's also really skilled with her size, and can adapt to different weapons such as eskrima sticks and katanas, and even when she's also capable of using the surrounding environment when needed, like when she used this corkscrew as a weapon to beat this goon. She has been training ever since she was just 12 years old, making her have almost 20 years of experience by the time we see her in Defenders. She's really good at taking on people all at once, including the Defenders. And while this version of the character was resurrected through the mystical elixir derived from dragon bones, giving her a natural strength and near invulnerability, the movie version was resurrected through a martial art technique known as kimaguri, which allows her to move at supersonic speed, see into the past and into the future, telepathically speak to someone through astral projection, potentially control time itself, actually raise people from the dead, and also having the ability to heighten those powers beyond measure when she Elektra ults, which when she does, she also unlocks the ability to have aimbot, echolocate someone using the Arkham detective vision, have her Sai glow bright gold, which means she either has the magical abilities to change the appearance of her Sai, or that she somehow has the ability to generate heat to heat up her Sai to look like that. something that Johnny Storm would be able to do. Or that she was able to throw the Psy so fast it started burning up in Earth's atmosphere, meaning she would have had thrown it over 11 times the speed of sound. That's almost 8 times faster than Netflix Elektra can even react to. The amount of drag and resistance created by these bushes would need so much force behind the Psy to keep it going and not lose momentum. It went through like 20 walls of shrubs and bushes. It's either one of these abilities. For all we know, it might be all 3. I don't even know which one would make her less overpowered. I'ma just say it's that the Psy is kinda mystical and magical in its own right. It only glows after it kills the goon, and it's kinda symbolic with her mastering the art of Kimaguri. She's finally using her weapons to their full potential now that she's advancing in the art. 2005 Elektra also seemingly has super hearing. She hears her friend park outside the building and even fiddle with his gun across the street. On top of that, she has her own bow and arrow and bow staff ready for her use, diversifying her methods of attack and abilities. And when she doesn't have her typical weapons nearby, she's pretty resourceful, resorting to using a box cutter as a projectile and using ninja stars to climb a tree. You know that cool scene in Daredevil Season 3 where Bullseye throws a baseball and it like curves at a 70-degree angle to hit Matt? Yeah, the movie version of Elektra also has amazing ricocheting abilities. As shown in the tie-in movie comic, she ricochets her Psy off the ground to hit someone in the groin. As for Black Sky, she has no means of ranged attacks. I mean, she threw her sword here, but she completely missed her target. Some people might say that she wanted to keep him alive, to bring him in as he was the key to proceeding with the Hand's plan to get more dragon bones for their elixir. But they didn't even know they needed this dude until episode 2. This was in episode 1. She completely whiffed on accident. This is the only time we see her using a projectile, compared to the movie version who's done it many times. And she missed. Her fighting skills and abilities in close quarters is definitely better than Garner's. Both are very acrobatic and really good at staying hidden in the shadows for stealth, showcasing fancy kicks and flips in their fights. Both were trained at very young ages. Young's version shows off some forms of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu grappling, something Garner's doesn't show much of. That's something to recognize for sure. But fighting style and complexity doesn't really matter when you're up against someone who can see into the future and knows your every move before you even do it. Aside from the near invulnerable status and super strength, as impressive as they are, that's all she kind of has over the movie version. Had this been against a more grounded hero, Young's Elektra would probably win. But we're pitting her against a literal time god, listing all their abilities against one another. It's just clear Jennifer Garner's takes the point in abilities. The comparison is insane, look at the roster on her end. And with the glaring weakness of Young's character being that she can be decapitated to stop her from getting back up again, on top of the fact that movie Elektra can throw her Psy faster than she can react, yeah, this one goes to Jennifer Garner's Elektra. Alright, let's tally up the points. I think it should be said that by no means is the Netflix version a pushover. She is crazy strong, but movie Elektra just operates on a completely different playing field. Normally, in videos like these, there would be that concern that if the newer version didn't win, the video would be outdated pretty quickly. It's part of the reason why I've never made a Flash versus Flash yet. That may or may not be the next versus video, by the way. Both stories just ended. Yippee. The Netflix Elektra could very well show up in the next couple of seasons of Daredevil Born Again and be shown to lift like 2 trillion pounds or something. But in cases like this, I'm pretty confident that they wouldn't go as so far as to make her surpass the movie version because her powers kind of make her someone who functions on the 4th dimension. And thanks to the Deadpool and Wolverine movie too, we actually might see more of Jennifer Garner's Elektra too. What's kind of funny is how wide the gap is in some of the categories. Black Sky is about 6 times stronger than the movie version, but Jennifer Garner's Elektra is over 570 times faster than the show's version, and also has a dozen more bonus supernatural abilities from the martial arts style she uses. To be honest, if we really wanted to analyze things further, like say how Garner's character could potentially punch as hard as she threw that Psy across the bush hedge maze, taking account the distance, the thickness of the bushes, how many bushes it went through, then she could potentially be nearly 150 times stronger than Elodie Young's Elektra. If Black Sky is the scary movie Michael Myers villain that refuses to stay down and creepily hunts you down, then 2005 Elektra is the scriptwriter of the entire movie. She is a goddess of time that also has the powers to raise people from the dead and has ridiculous aimbot. Frankly, I don't think Garner's Elektra belongs in a mirror matchup battle like this. She has the speed that rivals the MCU Quicksilver, but also has powers and abilities that low-key kind of surpasses Doctor Strange. It's actually ridiculous. She determines who wins the fight. Even if Netflix Elektra somehow got close enough and went straight for the instant kill like trying to break the movie one's neck, her neck was able to withstand a supersonic kick. Even with all her strength, she is not moving Garner's cartoonishly strong neck. This is the most unstoppable force meets an immovable object versus video I've done. The winner is Jennifer Garner's Elektra. Who do you want to see next in these kinds of videos? Believe it or not, this script has been sitting in my saved files for over 6 years. This video was originally meant to come out in summer of 2019, but I did some other things in my life and it kinda just got shelved for years. What better way to bring this series back now that Jennifer Garner came back as Elektra? I thought this was just the perfect character to do it on too. Anyways guys, it's been fun. Let me know what other characters you want to see in these matchups. It's just like old times.